Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is Saturday, May the 3rd, and we are in for an interesting week this week, particularly Wednesday. So the Fed goes into their open market meeting on Tuesday, the 6th, and then Wednesday, the 7th, we're going to hear from the U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman, pictured here, Jerome Powell, about an interest rate decision. And we had a jobs report on Friday, which was viewed as pretty positive and definitely lifted the markets to close. I think we had 9 straight days of gains in the markets. But based on that good jobs report and the fact that tariffs are paused at the moment, particularly the retaliatory tariffs, we are in a position where the Fed really doesn't have any data to support it cutting or increasing interest rates based on its dual mandate of inflation and interest rates as well as jobs. So inflation and interest rates tied together, and then the jobs data and employment numbers. So they're in a bit of a conflicted position because obviously the president, who's come out and said this multiple times that he wants interest rates to be lower, is not supposed to have any, and hasn't really historically had any influence on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors and the chairman. But President Trump has come out and made statements about potentially terminating and getting rid of Powell, and the market collapsed 3% when that happened just a week ago, and then came out the following day and said he had no intention of doing that, but has subsequently come back out and said he does have an intention of potentially doing that. So we really don't know where he stands on this issue other than he wants lower interest rates, and he feels like Jerome Powell is acting as Mr. Too Late, as he calls it in this article. So interesting to see what happens if rates don't change on Wednesday and the Fed keeps them the same, maybe they've been talking about a June decrease, but that could get pushed to July. If it does, and Trump reacts negatively and increases his rhetoric around removing Jerome Powell and having greater influence through his executive orders over the position of the U.S. Federal Reserve Chair, we could see the market tank again. And so Wednesday afternoon is going to be, I'm thinking, a pretty volatile time. So we'll see what happens leading into it. We're positive for 9 days in a row. We've got to have a day where we get a little bit of a pullback here. The market never goes up consistently. I think this is the longest positive run in quite some time. I don't know exactly how long it's been, but I recall hearing something this week that it's we're getting close to record territory in terms of number of positive days and positive returns. Now, I know we're coming out of a rather negative downturn with the correction that occurred starting February 19th with the tariff implementation or the talk of tariffs. So it will be an interesting week to see where we end up. I'm predicting the indices will be lower at the end of the week than where they closed this week, but I don't have a crystal ball. So that's where we are right now. Good luck in your trades this week. Be risk averse with your capital, and the strategy I've been implementing around buying puts when the market goes up that are 2 to 4 weeks out, and calls when the market goes down that are 2 to 4 weeks out has worked out pretty well. So something to definitely look at and consider as part of your strategy. Good luck, and if you like the videos, please hit